Welcome to the High Vibe Moms Club, the podcast for ambitious women ready to ditch burnout, diet culture, and mom guilt so they can feel hot, healthy, and radiant from the inside out. I'm your host, Shannon and Alex, and this isn't just another wellness podcast. It's a movement. If you're ready to raise your vibe, reset your health, and step into your most confident self, you're in the right place. Okay, so you have spent decades in sports nutrition and fitness working with elite athletes and everyday people. Yes. For my listeners who are meeting you for the first time, can you share what originally pulled you into this work and what lights you up the most about it?
Yes. So my name is Alex, and I've been in the industry for 20 years between competing and serving clients and preparing athletes for competition or races, uh, and even training kids to be professional athletes later. So when I was a young, when I was young, I always loved sport. Like I love to play soccer or play basketball, and all the summer I'll be swimming. Not as like doing laps, but spending the time always on the beach. So you know, and I think this is a good thing for parents that hear your show, that when you put your kids in more sports, uh, something good will come out of it rather than going to bad food and drugs or whatever. So I always wanted to be like, I fell in love with soccer and basketball, and unfortunately soccer didn't pay much. So I'm 16 years, 15 years. I was a little chubby because I had some asthma, and I had the inhaler, and the inhaler has cortisone, so it makes you gain water weight and stuff. So once I hit puberty, I lost that. I'm like, and I started, they teach us in school biology and chemistry and a little bit nutrition. I'm like, hmm, I'm gonna go. And there was this nutritionist I used to listen to her on TV. Her days were only TV. There was no, even internet was not famous, like easily accessible. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go cut the sugar and just eat more protein and like rotisserie chicken, and then when you're a kid, you lose the fat and water quickly. And in 3 months, I like really transformed my body and just running on the ocean, doing push-ups. So like, okay, now I want to take it to the next level. I want to be a champion. I want to live off sport. I'm gonna be someone, and I want to be this known person, and I want to make it my living. I don't want to work. Meaning I don't want to go sit in an office and do things. My mom was a teacher too, so I don't want to be a teacher. I want to be different. So that's what's really started flaming it all. And then in basketball, I was really good in basketball, but I'm not a tall guy. I'm not a big guy. So I unfortunately every time I would come home, either someone would elbow me, I have a cut in my lip, or like it's very physical, but it's very fun too. And, and then I started lifting. I also was a swimmer, but swimming didn't make me much like entertain. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and keep working out. And as I fell in love with more nutrition and biology, although in my undergrad I studied business, but in my postgrad I followed it with many certificates, and I studied exercise science and nutrition. So I'm like, okay, this is my life. This is what I want to be. And I started early, and I got a part-time job as a personal trainer when I was still in university. And I always would be like, my mom was also a little bit heavy, kind of, not like too much, and I was like, Mom, you shouldn't be eating this or this and that. And that was like the spark of it. And, I remember that quickly, I'd say, first time I watched, and Arnold's a friend of mine. So first time I watched Pumping Iron. A friend of mine gave me. It was a CD, like not a VHS. It's a video CD at that time. And I saw that. I'm like, oh. So I had the homework. I didn't do the homework. I watched Pumping Iron 5 times. So first time 5 or 6 times in the first year. So first time I met Arnold, maybe, I don't know, 14 years ago. It was a private meeting with him, and I told him, look, first time I saw Pumping Iron, I see it 16 times, and his nephew. Sorry, 6 times, and his nephew Patrick was there. He's like, he watched it 16 times. Ho ho ho! So yeah, so all that, like, I was looking at Franco Colombo and these people, like, I'm short, so I have a chance. I have a chance. So it made me believe that I have a chance. And this is the
Mm-hmm.
nice thing when you work on your body and especially also your mind, it gives you more self-confidence because sometimes when you're a kid, sometimes you're either bullied a little bit here or there. I had a tough childhood, and you want to prove that you want to be, you can, you're capable, you can do it and things. So bodybuilding and fitness really was the best thing that happened to me, and it actually made me have a character. So it's like I was as if
Mm-hmm.
we're molded, and I didn't mind training by myself so many times, like so many years actually. One thing I regret is that I didn't shoot every workout in Gold Gym before because by now I would have maybe footage for 10 years, but we didn't have
Yes.
like social media. Wasn't that famous, so like YouTube wasn't that famous. It was something like so. Anyway, that was really a trigger for it all, and then I, I, I I've said it before on another interview. Like I was very blessed also in my career. Like sometimes you come to the right place in the right time. So
Mm-hmm.
I moved up the ladder kind of quickly because I trained Frank Stallone and I'm friends with Arnold, and then I'm very close to the IFBB, and then that actually made I was a judge, and then I moved up to being a chairman for fitness in California.
Amazing. Amazing.
So
So you probably know my coach, Ingrid Romero.
yeah,
Yeah, so that was
really
my
great
coach.
one.
We
Yeah, yeah.
did it 10
So
plus.
yeah, it's amazing. It's not a big word. The thing is, it's not a big word. The fitness, we always work to make it bigger and bigger, but it's unfortunately it's not like it doesn't even compete with any other big sport or small like, sport because the way it is more individualized. Yet our influence and our what we could do to many around us, even or athletes, is really big. Like uh, like you as a nutritionist, as a coach, you have a huge influence, and you could affect people so positively. Listening to your
Mm-hmm.
podcast, even going around you, having health habits. We have a huge effect on others, and
Absolutely.
yeah, they see you, they say, hey, like I'm sure ladies would tell you, can you help me be like you? So when some people, some men tell me, oh, I would like, I saw, there was this guy, he hired me. It was amazing. Many of them, but just as, it's like, I would like to be somehow like close to you. But I said, no, your goal should be, you want to be better than me. You don't want to be me. First of all, we're not equal, different sider, but your goal should be, I want to be this and better. And that's actually when I, one, first probably Arnold Classic, which was my first international competition. Uh, you qualified at the Arnold Classic because back then it was you have to qualify, you have to win to be able to go there. And I thought I'm good enough. I'm gonna win, or like at least place. And then I see the first top three in front. They were just lining up next to me, and I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna place this time, but it's okay. Next time I'm gonna come even better and better and better. I want to be the
Mm-hmm.
the most fit. Until a time that I was like, it takes a lot of you probably went through this, but There was a time I'm 3.5% body fat measured in water. There's no error about that.
That's amazing.
There was nothing left in me. I started losing a little bit of muscle, which is you don't want that. But again, it's like you go into this self fight that you want to improve and you want to show that you are capable of doing this and you can do it for others as well and you want to have a good, but I always did everything in a healthy way, so this is important for your listeners. I never over pushed my body. I never used diuretics like so many do, and sometimes they might die. It was all in a natural way as much as possible, or like using, the supplements that would really help you. And I took more time in dieting because the diet is the most important. The way you eat, which is like, which is more likely what you should be focusing on, like your the way of life and eating. This is what will get you to your goals generally.
Absolutely. I remember I was sick of asparagus because asparagus is a natural diuretic.
Yeah.
And so I remember just like every meal was asparagus to lean out. So
Uh,
yes, natural approach, but it definitely made me. I love asparagus now, but for
Believe it or not, asparagus have some anabolic effects on the body. Like it's not only natural diuretic, but it has a good, you know, anabolic effect.
yes, yes. Okay, so thank you so much for that introduction of who you are, why you're passionate about what you do. And for my audience, they are primarily working mamas where they're juggling careers, their kids, sports, all the things that come in with life. What lessons from your own journey, as well as training these elite athletes, what advice can you give to our mamas, to all the women that just need some help, but without the burnout?
Yeah. Uh, well, first of all, we all have times. So I know they would like so many these mamas will be like, I'm struggling to fit in the time, and I have some clients like that, but I know they all have time.
You make time for what you prioritize, for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. And one thing, excuse me, which is helpful is, you know you sit with your partner. So, and it's important that both of you are healthy, or like, I mean, healthy, inside out. Okay, so he needs to exercise and you need to exercise. So if he doesn't exercise, we're not going to talk about this now, but he probably would, I don't know, have some time with his boys or whatever. But he needs to also be mindful that he needs to take care of the kids for 45 minutes, 3 times a week, whatever, when you are doing your exercise. Okay? Or if, so, but this is an important key for health success, meaning, or for help to be able for success in working out, and also if they're trying to eat healthy, then she doesn't have to cook 2 meals, or she has to, she doesn't have to be influenced by bad food next to her, or like, she opens the closet, she's find all this sugar processed foods and cookies, so it's harder for her to say no sometimes, because, or if even the drink, so you don't want to drink because you're on a plan to lose weight and be focused the next day and be ready for it. So that is a conversation you should have with your partner, that look, I give you, but you also have to give me in this section. I'm not talking about other parts of marriage. I'm not a marriage counselor, but this part is very important, that both would be on the same page about that, and having time for mommy for her health is important, because you also want your wife to be always healthy, less joint pain, less back pain. You know, uh, like I have a couple. One is my client, but she has a girl trainer. She also does Pilates, and they're both actually lawyers. They have 2 kids, and they manage the time this way. Like, hey, I'm gonna go work out. When they come, you go work out, or something like that. And
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
far, it's been 4 years like that. God bless them. It's great. On the weekend
No,
is their time, like it's the time for the kids, and so this is an important thing. And like you said in the beginning, you really have time. You really have 30 minutes 3 times a week to do it.
mhm.
Something like that. And this is the bare minimum, but I'm sure on the weekend you can take your kids out and hike or walk or do something about it. Like if you live in a rainy state or where it's cold, you can always do some stuff in the basement or somewhere like in a closed big room. And there's a way you could always find time for your health because you don't want to be on medicine.
Mm-mm. No, no, I definitely agree with you. A conversation with your spouse is definitely necessary because I've had a lot of clients where, again, they say, I don't have time. And I'm like, okay, but can your husband watch the kids? You have to have that agreement that there's got to
Yeah,
be a little give. And my husband and I do the same thing where we switch mornings of like who gets to go to the gym, who stays at home with the kids, and
exactly.
just having that balance.
Yeah,
And
it's the plan for
you need
success.
that support. You
Yeah.
can't just think that you could do everything on your own.
No.
You need that support.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we talked a little bit your bodybuilding journey, and in order to be successful, you really pushed yourself to what sometimes some people might consider an extreme
Yeah.
to do more, push harder in order to see these results. So, what do you think? And especially in our culture, we have so much like hustle, 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 the all or nothing mindset to do more, lift more, and which sometimes leads to overtraining and under eating. What advice can you give to moms so there is sustainability over those extremes?
Okay. First advice is, or first thing I want to say, people either undereat or overeat, especially if you're not educated on the nutrition. You're not going to know what you're doing, with all due respect. You could read articles that would be helpful, but even application is different.
Mm-hmm.
My advice is to invest first or once to one time, or like if you can save some money and invest in a good nutrition as well. And that's what I tell my clients. It's a different service from person training. Let me tell you that. Not all trainers are qualified, and even if they took a little bit of nutrition, but they're not qualified to like write you or tell you things about because
Mm-hmm.
it's a different science, different study, different classes, different everything.
Mm-hmm.
Every type of body is different. So we can
Mm-hmm.
dive into this later, but I'm saying like do it once where you could get the help of a professional. At least it could set you up on understanding calories, understanding food, how you should be eating for once. Maybe later on you could do it again and again. That's up to you. But this way, when you're by yourself, that okay, I have my map with me. I'm not lost, and I'm not weak, and
Mm-hmm.
I know what to do. So this is again, it's a plan not to fail. Because if you fail to plan your plan, you're planning to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't just go on the street thinking, oh, all the streets are crossed, so I know how to get back. You're not gonna do that. If you succeeded once, you're not gonna be able to do it on a longer distance. So that's one thing. It's very important, I think. And then you know we all have like bad days, but how we deal with the bad day is another thing that you should put in your head. Okay, I'm having tough day. How am I going to be able to stay in control of things as much as possible? You
Mm-hmm.
can't control the surroundings all the time, but you can control yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so sometimes we get this emotional eating. Many people have it, right? So, but you have a choice to really take a small, for example, snack or take a whole candy or whatever, gelato ice cream. So, yeah, so that's another thing. You really have to and plan for the week. Plan for the week. It's
Mm-hmm.
major. Those are three tips I would say that would help regardless.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I have women asking me often, I actually did a whole podcast episode on this, but I wanted to get your perspective on strength training, lifting weights. There's so many women who fear lifting heavy weights. They like go to the 1 pounds, the 2.5s, because they're afraid of getting bulky. So, from your experience, what's the biggest myth that maybe you've seen in strength training, bodybuilding, that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Also, I would like to add for like, so you won't get burned out. Every 6 weeks or 7 weeks you want to work. And this, as a person, you should do a deload week, or either don't work out for a couple of days in that week, or lift half of the weight you lift, or just go do swimming or walking, something low impact. So this way, even your nervous system will get relaxed, so you won't get too much burned out from just exercising the same way and doing like feeling routine and stuff. So every 6 to 7 weeks, you should be doing a week where it's less intense. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a competition or you have a meet that you have a date that you want to be, then you could push it a little bit more. And then after that competition is done or the test or whatever, then you take a break. But you should do that. It's better for your joints, better for the brain and everything else. So for women, first of all, even for guys, it's hard to build muscles. I know you see a woman would see be like some, I don't know, we're talking about natural stuff. You see like, oh, guys are like, oh, this guy is big or this guy is buffy or this, but even that required a lot of lifting, a lot of weight consistently, not a day or two or a month. Has to be more than
Mm-hmm.
3 months. Eating a lot of food. So for women, the best thing they could do for themselves is resistance training. I say it
Mm-hmm.
again, the best thing a woman can do for herself is not yoga. Okay, it's good for mobility and flexibility, but yoga is not an exercise. It's a good movement. I'm with it, and you should be doing it twice a week. But on top of that, before you should be doing the resistance training,
Mm-hmm.
because you need to push your body because that helps in better bone density. It helps in building, protecting yourself, have better blood circulation, everything else. And it's very hard for a woman to really build muscle. Don't confuse muscles to fat. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not eating well and you're just lifting, and you think because you're working out, you can outwork your diet, doesn't work this way, because then okay, you might gain a little bit of muscle and you feel a little bit puffy as a woman. Don't forget, a woman, I mean, you're not gonna forget, but like, yeah, like she has a cycle, and in this cycle, her body fluid changes. So that will make her like sometimes pissed because she's retaining more water because of her hormones. And some women do
Mm-hmm.
not have that much of an issue, but that is something she has to remember and not get pissed every month about it. She could, on
Yeah,
that week where you feel like okay, you're more puffy, you could drink the Indioli root, which is just a tea, or you could get it as a supplement. It's natural diuretic, or you always eat asparagus, like you said. But always drink a lot of water so your body will always be, hydrated, and take off the excess of water. Never feel like, oh, I will gain so much muscle. It takes a lot for these women you see on stage, for example, or even bulky women. Ask her, how
mm-hmm.
long have you been working out? Not like, she'd tell you at least like 5, 6 years. And some of them,
Yeah,
if they don't really be like consistent and good on, you're not gonna see like much of a difference on her body. So it takes
for sure.
because of the just the anatomy and not the physical, like what the hormonal part of the woman, and how she's eating. It differs.
Mm-hmm.
So I say always try to lift good, not to the extreme. You don't have to break yourself or do like I need to break my record or probably state record, but always try to push in a nice way.
Yeah.
Just
No, I agree.
call it this way. Push
Yeah.
in a nice way where you can always be able to.
Yes. I always say tell failure to where you're a little sore, but you're not like so sore that like if you did legs, you can't sit down to use the restroom.
Yeah, you don't need that. That you know, there's many studies that show that lifting, not very light, but okay, doing good resistance for between 5 to 15 to 20 reps with good, form. That shows that you get hypertrophy from it. Like you grow.
Yes,
Okay, and
absolutely.
then that also differs from one woman to another. Some women just want to look good. Again, the diet will play a good role, so you need to be eating healthy, but just working out is very recommended for a woman.
Absolutely. And then one thing you mentioned earlier about the cycles and 7 to 8 weeks, I typically recommend to the listeners with our cycle, once you hit that luteal phase, which is right before you start menstruation, that's when I kind of recommend like, let's not lift so heavy. Let's focus more maybe on the Pilates and yoga because we have 3 other weeks that we can focus on the straight training and lifting heavy just because otherwise, I don't know if you've seen that movie Encanto where the sister who like works out all the time but she's like,
Uh,
I can't lift anything heavy. And she like throws a fit. I feel like that's me in my luteal phase. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not strong anymore.
that's funny. Yeah, yeah. Also, you pass into this week, which is either your temper is short or
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah. So,
different, it's a
honoring
tough week.
that, you talked a little bit about having a roadmap. So,
Yes.
for moms, nutrition can be confusing. There's so many influencers and people out there who are like, you need to track macros. No, you need to track calories. You need to use this app. You need to restrict this food group. You need a da 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 da. Like, there's so much information out there.
Yes.
What do you recommend? And I know when I teach my clients, yes, it is tough to at first start to recognize your hunger cues. A lot of us who are emotional eaters, we overeat, or like we mentioned, maybe they undereat because they're doing too many things. So it is good to have a general idea of this is how much you should eat. But what do you recommend as far as like macros, calories, any other method?
Okay. I recommend doing a blood test and a gene test.
Hmm.
Normally, you could they take it from the blood and they give you the gene results, but either or. First, every 6 months, do a blood test so you know what's happening to your body on the inside. You need to see everything. Like if you're working with a professional dietitian or nutrition, they will understand and help you read that. Sometimes the doctor will only say one thing or two things, but of course he's not qualified like a dietitian or certified nutritionist with high knowledge, not just so. Well, from there, you um, you could know what you should be eating more, less, and for the like, for example, having the results of the gene helped so many. I mean, it's proven, but we'll tell you what better foods to always eat and focus on, and what supplements you should be taking all the time or most of the
Mhm.
time. And you'll be on a plan, for example, for 6 months, and then after 6 months or at least 4 months, you do another blood test and then see, okay, some people have high triglycerides, some people, let's just say, you never know, but so many will be like borderline diabetes. Like how's their
Mhm.
HbA1c is. So that's what you know, because diets will always like, the thing about it is like, oh, I'm trying this, I'm trying that. So people go into it with an idea that it has an expiry date. Like, oh, I
Mhm.
tried this
Mhm.
for 12. Okay, let's just say it worked for you. Are you putting in your head that you're gonna live like that? So let's just say keto worked for you. Okay, and you lost 10 pounds if you want, if that's the goal, right? Then what's going to happen after? So better is to prepare to know how, like you want to do it like for the rest of your life in a way or another, or if you did it for a very long period and you get off the wagon, like fell off the wagon, like you say, uh, know how to get back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll
Mm-hmm.
tell you, so many people don't know. Okay, like where the calories are coming from and how will our body process, like how you're gonna digest and work with those calories. 1 gram
Mm-hmm.
of alcohol is 7 calories, which is the worst actually. By the way, you shouldn't be drinking if you really wanna get to your goal and you really wanna be losing weight or even building muscle. You shouldn't be doing that. So that take it
Mm-hmm.
away. But every 1 gram of carb and 1 gram of carbohydrate, sorry, protein are equal in calories, but the body uses it in different ways.
Absolutely.
This is another like your nutrition should at least give you a little bit of a short class, let's just say, or how what's happening, so you understand. Okay, not just like, oh, I'm eating this and that, and like, oh, I'm on 1,200 calories. Well, okay, you can eat 1,200 calories of carbohydrates every day, and you're gonna look like a potato. I'm saying. I'm so sorry to say it, but I am a straightforward person. You wanna
Yeah.
look more strong. Every woman, let's just face it, right? Every woman and a man, but okay, we're talking about women here. Everyone want to look nice, want to look beautiful. Everyone want to look with a flat stomach, and right? No, so
Mm-hmm.
why you're fighting back? Like, well, oh no, but I need a cheat meal. Oh no, but I'd like to eat this sugar. Look, if you're not ready for a cheat meal, then you shouldn't be having a cheat meal. For example, like I have that conversation with my clients, like, oh, so when I'm gonna have a cheat meal? Oh, actually, I said, why? Do you go and spend the extra $1,000 because just you felt it's like some I'd like to spend an extra thousand? No. So the same way, think about it. You came and ate that muffin, and you don't really need that muffin.
Yeah.
So
Some do. Some use
some
shopping as therapy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I had that one before.
Some people use food as therapy. Some people use shopping. I mean, people numb
Okay,
out.
yeah. I know, but I'm just saying. I'm so sorry. Like we can't. I'm a very straight, but we're on a podcast to help people as much as possible.
Yeah,
But
I love
if you really would like to understand and get straight to the goal, this is how you should be. And at least at the beginning, once you lose whatever you want or gain whatever you want, then you could, okay, start now. Okay, if you like, I go out, I like to eat in I like to try nice restaurants when I'm able, and there's no problem. But I know that, okay, I'm doing this, but I'm gonna get back right to my good stuff, my good habits.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's having a plan, like you said. And I do love how you say blood work. I actually try to do it every 6 months just
Yeah.
to see where, because it tests your hormones, it tests
Yes.
maybe food intolerances, all the things, because there could be somebody who's saying, like, you need to eat this veggie and this meat, but like my mom, if she eats steak and Brussels sprouts, it upsets her stomach. So she needs to stay away from those foods, which was, yes, through trial and error. But if you get blood work done, then yes, it can also help figure out where your
Yeah.
hormones are,
Definitely. Definitely.
diabetes, all the things. If you're pre diabetic, you know, maybe a keto diet would be better for you. But if you don't
Yeah.
have issues with diabetes, you're like, okay, why are you doing the keto? Is it just because it's the trendy thing or?
Yeah, this is people like to follow trends, and I mean, try. There's nothing wrong sometimes to try a little, but just know what just know what you want and what you're doing, and if we are, the science has improved, and there's a reason we do these studies and trials, and I participate with many studies, but if we're able to get to London in 5 hours. Wouldn't you get to London in 5 hours? Yes, I think everyone wants to fly in 5 hours. So if you're able to give your body the right away, okay, this is the best way to get to your goal. Like also the gym that will tell you how you should be working out and what's the best workout with like way of working out for you to get. So this way you won't be wasting your time. Like some people, they're not good. They should, I am a person who I should I don't digest carbohydrates, and I'm good in protein, but guess what? I'm not good at all with red meat.
Mm-hmm.
So another food category that I only am allowed to eat it once a week
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because my body, even if it's clean, I get fat on it. So
Yeah.
and this is genetics. You know, when you go to
Yeah.
the doctor, say, okay,
That,
you have more plug in your heart, it's genetics. So this is genetics.
mhm.
And if we're able to understand it and avoid problems, then you should be doing that. It's not smart
Yeah.
not to do it. I'm just saying.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
And that's one thing people, I always teach awareness. So many people are unaware. They're just like, oh, I'm bloated. I have this, I have that. I'm like, okay, well, journal about it. When you eat what foods, how does your body digest it? And if it does, like you said, with certain foods, just stay away from that. You don't
yeah,
want to feel like crap.
exactly. It's much better. And I would say always use a digestive enzyme to help you with their digestion, but don't rely on it all the time and hurt. I mean, that's for digestion, it's fine, but if it's affecting your blood work, your heart, your arteries, your liver, then you should completely not eat it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've given us a lot of tips and ways that they can implement a healthier lifestyle. But how do you help people think beyond those short-term results? Because we talked about like, okay, if you could get to London in 5 hours, you would want to do
Yeah.
that. Um, but yes, you can eat super clean and follow a diet to a T, but this might cause you to feel frustrated and then end up binge eating because you feel, excuse me, so restricted. So, how can you create habits that actually support your life long term? And I know there's a difference. Like, if you have an event that you're training for, you might be pushing a little bit harder.
Yes.
But if you want to have that long term, sustainable, just be fit, lean, cut all the time, what do you think?
Well, my website is Fitness Results Coach. Okay, so it's all about trying to deliver the results because that's what would be different from others. So the first thing is what I after getting to know the person, we should think about our mindset and about our bad habits. Okay, because the good habits are there, but we should put the mindset and like switch it to okay, knowing that there will be days where I will be down, knowing that there will be days gonna wake up and say, "Oh, I know I have to exercise, or no, but I don't want to do it." So when you put that in your head that you know that those days are coming and prepare for those, that's when you are trying to avoid these failures. And of course, eh, most likely you're gonna fail first time, which is not a problem, but don't make it uh, like every time like oh I can do not like an excuse. It's not, but don't make it a habit. Like you could every person will have to fail in a place a little. Some do
Mm-hmm.
not, which be like very very lucky, right? But it's important to have the mindset of not like preparing for these days and knowing that I can do it and I'm not gonna let uh, let's just say my training partner influence me. If you have a training partner, sometimes having a good training partner will help because one person pushes the other. But
Yeah, the accountability.
yeah, and the other part is, you know, I think like you say journaling. You do some people do. Okay, I think a person should sit and write what they're eating first, second, on the side on the second side, right? the bad habits they do. And they know they're bad, everyone. So write them down, tackle them down, try every week to change one thing, okay? And or just take it out completely and set yourself on the success plan.
Mm-hmm.
So eliminating bad habits from your life, toxic people, bad influence, a lot of time on social media, which is horrible, although we are using this too. But I'm just saying, scrolling a lot, like, you could use that time to do plank. You could do that time to cook some meals and put them in packages and put them in the fridge. So yes, learn from what we have, like the access to. You know, my days, like I said, there was no internet. Then we started reading some magazines and then reading books, which I enjoy. But that was limited. We used to wait a month for the magazine to come out and see the latest supplement and what is this about.
Yes.
So now you so many people are just waiting for the Amazon body, which is your body's not gonna come in 2 days.
I love that. I love the Amazon
Yeah,
body.
yeah,
You
like seriously, you think about the time you it took you to gain weight, or I'm sorry to say, like the time to get fat, eating all this. You wanna, I don't want to put you down and say, oh, you're gonna take you 3 years to lose the fat. No, but think about
It
it and
didn't
be
happen.
patient. Yeah, be patient. Like be patient, and be consistent. Some days, okay, you like I go to the gym sometimes. I don't like I have my own gym as well. Like I don't want to exercise, but I still do it quickly or do a shorter workout because I want to have a good heart. Like now, after all my accomplishment, or I really exercise just anti-aging to stay good, and I don't want to take any medicine. I
Yes.
don't like doctors, although I train them. I don't like going for some. I'm just saying they're gonna hate me now. But anyways, I actually have a clip talking not good. But it's all good. I'm all for the knowledge and it's the PhDs.
Yes. No, I love that. I have my own journey with doctors and having to listen to what's best for myself. So I hear you. Don't worry.
I mean, look, you know, I'll tell you, if you as a person try to manage good weight for yourself, then you're gonna be fine. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, for example, I was next to my mom and the doctor had put her on insulin. And I found out years later, and I was so pissed about it because, if I'm the one who helping people and like I couldn't, but she never told me. So the thing is, so many doctors just don't tell you, look, you gotta go and lose 10 pounds, then your blood pressure will be better, or go lose another 5 pounds, you won't need insulin. And insulin is a hormone, by the way. You take it, you're damaging your body, and then it damages your kidneys and this and that. Right? So I'm just telling your listeners, you don't want to start with one thing that will make you have three medicine. When the solution is right in your hand, which is your phone, right? You can write things on it. You can see some things. And the simplest thing is you get a pencil and paper, like I said, and write all the bad habits. And every week, cross one and make another good one. Right? And then you get, and don't fall for the trap that tells you, oh, eating healthy is expensive. That's not true. Because you really
No.
don't need a lot of food for every day, and you can always have good, healthy choices. Uh, I mean, at least here in California, it should be cheaper than going and eating out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with the medicine. For our listeners, before we hit play or record, I kind of introduced Alex to how I was diagnosed with a couple GI symptom or GI diseases, the Barrett's esophagus, GERD, hiatal hernia. And that was because of my lifestyle, the way that I ate. And if I would have done what the doctor said and just take the proton inhibitors, acid reducers for the rest of my life, yes, it masks the symptoms. But like you just mentioned, Alex, long term, they said it could cause colon cancer. It could cause other things because of how long I was taking them. Starting only at 22, I might need surgery. There's all these other things that could have happened, but I reached out to other doctors, I did my own research, and they were like, no, don't take those. Instead, switch your diet. Go to something that's more alkaline for your system. Reduce your portion sizes because you don't need to eat a Big Mac, a 20 piece, and a fry.
Yeah, that's the lifestyle here. That's
So,
what I'm
yeah,
saying here. Yeah.
yes, you don't always have to take the medicine. If a doctor tells you this is what we're going to prescribe, yes, listen, but also get a second opinion because we don't want to, as Alex
Sometimes
said,
three opinions too. Not a problem.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Alex, I have absolutely loved our conversation today. I know our listeners have gotten so much out of this and can start implementing stuff today.
Yes.
So I know you mentioned your website earlier. I'll be sure to link that into the show notes. But
Thank
is
you.
there any one last takeaway or anything that you want to share with the listeners as we close out today?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, first, I'm very happy that we talked here and we got in depth into some stuff and healthy lifestyle. We try our best to be a good influence for our surrounding and their listeners. Uh, but every one of us will have bad days. So I think, like I said, we should prepare for the bad days more than the good days because the good days are
Mhm.
always kind of easy or like a bad situation. So we only have control on ourselves, not more. So put that mindset in your head and if you try to be as much as possible consistent. Like,
Mhm.
some days you might do only 30 minutes of whatever you like to do, and sometimes you could do an hour, but just do it regardless. Don't
Mhm.
let the negative thoughts come into your head. uh, Motivation goes up and down, but you are important. So think about yourself, your health, and how you want to age. You don't want to age like, Spain and stuff. You want to age gracefully. And that's just the last thing I would like to say. And try to change the bad habits slowly, but you get there.
Mhm. Mhm. Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex, for your time today. And
Sure.
I will be in
Yeah.
touch. And I look forward to seeing everything that you do in your life.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Thank you so much. You can find me on Instagram, the trainer Alex. Thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed the talk. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.